Traders, welcome back to the channel. We're not going to cover too much in this video, but what I'm going to do is explain my position on AMC. Now, there's this conception that I sold all of my GameStop shares, AMC shares. I don't even know. I have no GameStop. Never have I ever had any GameStop. But anyways, I did not sell a single share. I sold my options and then I entered immediately back in on market open today. Now, why did I enter? Why did I do this? I mentioned all this on my live stream as everything was happening, so I don't really get why people are confused or what's going on. But we're going to talk about that here in the video and explain, and I'm going to show you my overall positions like I always do as well. So let's get right into that content. I don't even need you to subscribe, but this is what I expect on AMC. Okay, so this is my overall position. I took a picture at 11 a.m. today. I didn't know really how I was going to post it, but this is how it overall looks. It's the same overall positions, the same March 19th calls, but what I did is I just entered more positions. So originally, as you can see the quantity right here, 38, that was originally 20. You can see when I bought those on the live stream as well. So all this is completely transparent. I'm not a pump and dumper because I don't think I could even pump or dump AMC by myself anyways, but that's besides the point. I'm just showing you guys the overall plan was to add more shares like we have been doing the whole time. So I don't really know how the conception that I sold my positions, I didn't care. Ultimately, the goal here anyways is I'm okay losing the money I have in AMC either way. This money got all the way down to 400 bucks and then it went back up to about 3,000. That's when we exited and then we got back in on that dip as it was dumping. It looked pretty easy to tell what was going on, but that's besides the point. Let's look at the chart and where I see us going and why I think there is a bullish thesis behind this. So this is the overall move. This is the major drop down that we had on AMC as we're looking, and it looks essentially pretty terrible just from the first eye. Now, it's obvious this was not a retail sell-off. This was obviously instituted by institutions. As we dip down, it's worth noting we dipped under that 9.45 range and we overall held it. That major resistance. If you watch the previous videos, 9.4 was that major resistance that took us forever to break above, and we finally get back above it. And we also saw the rubber banding action going on with the GME as well, and GME looks very good as we're looking. So we came back up, came back down, and now we're kind of consolidating back in the sideways, kind of getting some sort of wedge or pennant. So we're actually breaking up out of that now, sitting on the VWAP. Now, going into the end of the week, do I expect us to get a pump to $11, $12? What do I expect? I don't necessarily expect any of that at all. I would love to see us trend back to 11 and stay right below 11 personally. And then next week, I see a lot of volume kicking back in with all the hype behind the quadruple witching. Now, if you want to cover any of that content, Trey, Bruce, and those boys, they cover that very thoroughly in very long videos, but that's just not what I do. I don't cover that type of content. I'm strictly based on the price action. But if this was to turn bearish, where would this turn bearish in my opinion? Where would my overall thesis of the push of AMC change to the downside? It would have to break down below 9.4. 9.4 is a very crucial area for this stock. The same thing on GME. You can see it was at 133 range. Now, when we go back and look at GME, it actually didn't dip that far. We dipped down back to that weekly level, and then we came right back up. The same, and the chart looks absolutely bullish. I mean, you can just see the pennant forming that we're about to get another break back out. GME looks very strong. And then if we come down and we look, that 133 was all the way down here. So GME held up much better than AMC and when you compare them. So as we go back to AMC, you can definitely see how we're moving, and it does look fairly decent. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to moon or anything like that anytime soon. What I am expecting is some sideways consolidation, maybe a bit of upside, but I don't think we push back to this $12 region today or tomorrow. So that's worth noting. This $12 region, I don't think we push there immediately. What I want and what I expect is a move back up, breaking, and then some sideways consolidation. And then leading into March 19th, I expect more movement. Now, looking at the calls, am I going to be taking profits earlier than March 19th? Most likely I will. They're options. I never let an option go to expiration. If you look at any trader that does options, they don't let their options go to expiration. Typically, they have less value. So make your own decisions. So as always, make your own decisions, do your own due diligence. This is not financial advice, especially you really shouldn't take it as financial advice now because apparently I'm a pump and dump and paper hand cuck or something like that. So take it with a grain of salt, do your own due diligence. Okay, so looking at AMC, looking at everything going on, obviously I still think there's upside. I just rebought in and basically doubled my whole position from 20 options to 38. So it's looking pretty good. If we get back to that overall $12 range, I would essentially just double all the profits that I had from the first go around anyway. So it looks pretty good. No complaints there. The market does look very bullish as well, with the second stimulus getting passed and signed today by Joe Biden. So that looks very, very good as well. Everything's kind of lining up for this next week, a strong move by AMC. And if you know anything based on the time dates, AMC tends to move better along with GameStop near the end of the month. Just historically speaking, you can look at these last moves. They started to get those bullish moves up near the 19th, actually, on both of the months. So that's something worth noting as well. I still think there's a lot of momentum here on AMC. I think the short interest and the short rate behind these shorts is very, very manipulated. It's very strange that it's going down while the stock price is still holding at a very strong value. That part I think is very, very skewed, but the new recount will take into effect very, very soon, and that could really start pushing the stock up as well. Overall, what I want to see is a trending below 11 and then a push back to that $12 range come next week, and that's when I think the real volume starts to kick in. But that's just my assumption, and that's just what I'm looking forward to seeing in the market. Now, do your own DD. That's going to wrap up this video. Have a good one, boys. Namaste.
Check. The grooves in my mouth, double